Hello, pup parents, and welcome to today's episode of the Perfect Pup Podcast. My name is Devin. I have two goals in this episode. Number one is for my dogs not to think that I'm going to take them on a walk because I'm going to be saying that word over and over. And number two, it is going to be to convince you to flip the script on the question of how many times or how often or how long should I walk my dog each day. So let's get right into it. To give a basic answer, if you really want to know how many times you should walk your dog per day, I would say at least once, ideally two, and at least for 60 minutes total. And every dog is different. We're going to talk more about that. But I want to challenge all of us as pup parents to think differently about how we approach exercise and taking care of our dog's physical needs. We used to live in Utah, and when we lived there, I rarely took my dogs on walks. We played a lot of fetch in our backyard, at the park. We did a lot of hiking. We did a lot of things like tug of war and using a flirt pole, or, we would go in our yard and our dogs would wrestle or just run around, play chase. We did a lot of things, but we didn't go on walks very frequently. There were most days that I didn't take my dog on walks at all. And now I live in New York City and my dogs go on walks very frequently, but that is because we, go to the park where they have time to run off leash and explore and play fetch, but there's not a car. We don't have a car to get them there. We're doing it on walks. But I make that kind of distinction to bring home that point that you can give your dog plenty of exercise and plenty of enrichment without ever going on walks. And, I think a lot of times as new pup parents, especially, we think, okay, I've got to get my dog on a couple of walks. We go for a 20-30 minute walk. Sometimes it's stressful. There's leash pulling, there's other problem behaviors. And then you get home and your dog's still hyper and you're thinking, why? What's going on here? I took my dog on a good walk. What's the problem here? And it's important to look at our breeds and to think about the differences that our breeds have and what your dog has been bred to do. The word breed, right? Like there's bred in there, and certain breeds have been bred for hundreds, if not thousands of years to perform specific tasks, right? My Labrador retrievers, they were literally bred to help retrieve items, often fishing nets from the bays, from water where they lived with their humans. Other breeds were bred to herd animals. Other breeds were bred for protection. Some breeds were bred to be lap dogs. And for those lap dogs, just going on walks might be enough. But if your dog was bred to herd other animals and have free rein and to run around and to chase and to herd, a walk probably not going to be sufficient for meeting your dog's needs. So I think it's so important to look at our dogs, forget about just number of walks or how long or how much should I exercise my dog, and look at what is your dog looking for? What will help your dog feel fulfilled? And what is your dog's purpose, right? And deciding to find activities and to approach things with that lens will be so much more beneficial than, give your dog 30-minute walks a day. This episode was inspired by a Reddit thread that I stumbled upon. I love Reddit. Has so many great insights for so many different topics. But the way that the poster in this Reddit community talked about kind of flipping this script and how we should ask this question of, how many times a day should I walk my dog? They put it this way. They said, how much enrichment, activity, and bonding time do you spend with your dog? And I think that's so much more important. And if you can focus on those three facets, your dog will be much, much happier, and you'll be happier as a pup parent. So let's break those down really quickly. Enrichment, right? We've talked about this before. Mental exercise. There's things like snuffle mats, lick mats. There are foraging boxes. You can play hide and go seek with treats. You can give your dog a mini obstacle course. Even trick training. There's so many different things that you can do to work your dog's nose and in turn work their brain. The second is exercise. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. And then the third is bonding, right? Even if you were to take your dog on a couple walks per day, but then when they're in the home, they're just bored, they're not doing anything, you're not paying attention to them, you're not getting time to, one-on-one interaction with them. I think that goes a long way for our dogs. They rely on us and they enjoy our companionship. So it's important to give them some of that. a lot of that as much as we can in a realistic manner on a daily basis. Point that I kind of glossed over of physical exercise. Let's go back into that and let's talk about some alternatives to going on walks because, like I've said, walks can be valuable. Some breeds, that's all they need. Some breeds, that's all they want. They love just, being by your side and getting some sniffing in and peeing on everything and just exploring the city around them. But for many other dogs, it's not enough. And my dogs in particular, I could take my dog Scout on a 2-3 hour long walk. And you know what? She would come home, she would not be tired. She would actually probably get bored. Whereas if I play 30 minutes of fetch with her, you can see it's hard. I don't want to be giving too much of an anthropomorphism, but you can seem to see some happiness in her eyes. And, she just seems way more into it. You have her focus. She loves what she's doing. And she'd be way more tired with 30 minutes of fetch than she would with a 2 to 3 hour walk. I'm not exaggerating. So here's some other walking alternatives that you can try with your dog, especially if you're feeling like, wow, these walks aren't enough for getting my dog's energy out and getting them tired. Hiking. I love hiking with my dogs. The nice thing about hiking is that you can do it on a 6-foot leash. You can do it you can use a 30-foot lead to give your dog more freedom to explore. Some hikes allow your dog off leash. So there's just so much opportunity for them to, see new things. One reason I love hiking with my dogs is, you do for example, 2-mile hike. They probably do a 10-mile hike because they're running back and forth and exploring. And it's just so much exercise. Puppy play date. Do not underestimate the value of a puppy play date because at the end of the day, another dog is going to be way more effective at tiring your dog out and honestly letting your dog have some fun than you probably will be because dogs, they need interaction with each other. There's the socialization there. You can't wrestle with your dog like another dog can. They're going to chase each other. They're going to run. They're going to interact and play. And just that sociability is so important. We talked about this on a previous episode, running with your dogs. If it works for your dog, if your dog's old enough, if it's something you like to do, it can be a great way to, again, take 30 minutes. And instead of it being just a walk, it can be, instead of about a mile long walk, you can go 2 to 4 miles and be able to see new things and have new experiences with your dog, which I think is so important. Don't underestimate the value of, even if you just want your walk to be more valuable or to be more enriching for your dog, take a new path, find somewhere you've never been before, the new smells and the sounds and the sights and the other dogs and people they might run across. It's going to make that walk so much more enjoyable. I mentioned this before. You can just do hide and seek in your house or around your yard or wherever it works. If your dog's food motivated, hide their food, hide some treats and let them sniff it out and run around and find it. If they like toys or a ball, you can hide their ball. My dogs love searching out their ball. One that I really must mention is a flirt pole because if you're using a flirt pole, it's really the best of both worlds because you're giving physical and mental exercise because you can incorporate, telling your dog to wait, and then chase. You're working on the drop behavior. There's that interaction, plus they're running and chasing. And, if you're stuck inside because of weather, it's a great way to tire your dog out. I hope that you can use this episode to start thinking more critically about how you're approaching your dog's exercise and really looking at your dog as an individual, but also as a breed and thinking, okay, what is most valuable to my dog specifically? And how can I find time to incorporate that versus just, I've got to get my dog out to go to the bathroom. Let's get him on a quick walk. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have not already, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Give me episode ideas. Give me feedback. I read every single one of them. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, leave a comment. And other than that, we will catch you on the next episode.